Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. My name is Sudhir Sasanaman and you're watching Study with Sudhir. Now, if you're a student of ICSE Class 9 or ICSE Class 10, you have two options how to study Julius Caesar, the play by William Shakespeare, which is part of your syllabus. The step number one, obviously, and I would reckon this is the best step, is to follow all my explanation videos done entirely in English, Act 1 to Act 5, and Act 1, 2, 3 have been done in Hindi as well. I prefer that you use the English videos for the simple reason, and I'm saying this. See, I'm a postgraduate in English literature, so when I say this with a certain degree of understanding of the subject. When you listen to it in English, it helps you get used to that kind of vocabulary, those words which you can then use in your 3-mark and 4-mark answers. That's the big advantage that you get. And the way I explain, I tend to repeat, so it almost becomes like a revision of sorts. When you keep hearing the same words, it becomes part of your ecosystem, right? That's precisely the idea. When you listen to it in Hindi, and I completely understand that some students would be more comfortable understanding it in Hindi, no problems with that. The disadvantage with that is in the examination hall, your thought process tends to go first in Hindi and then you translate it into English, and there you lose some precious time. That's the limited point. Plus, you do not get used to what words to use, and you tend to use words which may not be accurate, words which may not be the best possible words, words which may not really fit into that particular question. So the choice is entirely yours. So that's as far as step one is concerned. Now, as far as step two is concerned, obviously all of you have a book which you have bought, which would have been prescribed by your school to you. Even I have a couple of books. I myself have recommended some book in the past. But now comes one book which my first reaction on reading the book was, wow, this is good. It has come a little late, but as Rajnikant's dialogue goes in Tamil, na later vandalum, latest adam varuven. So even if I come late, I will be the latest. So there is this particular book, Julius Caesar, textbook with paraphrase. Now the advantage with this book, which has been published by Oswald Books, is that it combines both paraphrase as well as the questions and answers, including MCQs. Unlike the other books, where you first need to buy a book and then you need to buy another book in order to get the question and answers. So this, in that sense, is a paisa vasool book, is what I felt. This book has just hit the market. I'll put the link in the description box. So to that extent, I liked it. Then I further went through each and every act, each and every scene. And for these 5 to 6 reasons, I thought this book is by far, if you want to understand Julius Caesar in detail, this is the book for you, is what I would recommend. I'm not saying throughout whatever book you have and buy this book. Please don't waste your parents' money. But if you are a student of class 9 in particular, you should invest in this book. If you are a student of class 10 also, given the fact that the academic year has just begun and there are some books in the market which are really not up to the mark, especially when it comes to question and answers, because many of them, and I'm saying this with all responsibility, are taken from ChatGPT. It's very unfortunate, but that's pretty much the case. Now, that's the first big point out here is that mind maps have been provided for every scenes, themes, and motives, which is a huge advantage when it comes to revision before your half yearly, before your pre-boards, and before your board examination. It will make it much easy. Number two, the words which have been used by Shakespeare in the play and their equivalent words in modern English have been given, have been highlighted to make it easy for you. After every scene, and this according to me is the USP of this book, after every scene, there is discussion about the main characters in that scene. Why do they behave in a particular way? What are their motivations? What are the literary techniques and devices which have been used by Shakespeare in that particular scene or in that particular act? The themes of every scene, this is very important, and the important passages that you should specifically focus on. Because this, what happens is that you kind of, every scene that you go through, by the time you end the scene, you're kind of overwhelmed. When you see this, okay, this is the way I need to approach this scene. This is the way I need to remember what all I have read and studied and understood from my videos. Also, the important quotes have been highlighted. So this essentially ensures that you read, revise, understand, analyze every scene very clearly, because remember, each and every question that you would get would either be a recall question, an understanding question, an application question, or an analysis question. So you need to be prepared for all kinds of questions, and all of them have been highlighted in this particular book. You have both MCQs and reference to context questions in this particular book given along with the answer key, which is why I think this book is a good investment. As I said, especially if you are in class 9, most definitely you should go for this book. Even if you are in class 10 and you need to make a decision, because you would have read the first 2 acts in class 9, by now you have an idea about how good the book that you're using is and whether it is giving you value for money. In that case, look at this book, make an informed choice. But these are the reasons why I think this book is good. Now, these are the way the mind maps are given after of every scene, the themes and the motives. Now, for example, this is of Act 4, Scene 3. It tells you exactly what happens, the sequence of events, and then it gives you the themes and the motives of the scene. And thereafter, before and after, are the scene study questions which have been given, both MCQs as well as the long format, the reference to context. For example, here in Act 4, Scene 3, the main characters, their motivations and actions, the literary devices and techniques, then the themes of the scene, the important quotes and their explanation in addition to the paraphrase which has already been provided, and then you have the MCQs, and then you have the reference to context questions along with the answer key. So this is the way the book has been divided. I personally thought, if I were to ever write a book on Julius Caesar, this would be it. This would be the quality of the book that I would really aspire for, which is why I thought it was very impressive. As I said, the links are in the description box for you, any one of you who may want to take it. So it's like this, any good book in the market, I would want to and I know exactly the kind of rigor and the people who plan these books at Oswald Books, which is why I'm recommending this with a great degree of confidence. Thank you very much. Tata, bye-bye. There are more videos coming up. As I said, there is a bit of the history, civics, geography syllabus left. I wish more people were watching it instead of leaving it all to the end, because the whole idea was to finish it off by the 15th of August. From my side, I would do it off. Rest is entirely up to you. Okay. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Tata, bye-bye.